Let's bring in Mark Matthews. Mark is Head of Research for Asia at Bank Julius Baer in Singapore. Right, well, that's exactly the question, isn't it, Mark? I mean, we've seen this rally. Is it sustainable? And I believe that you think that it's gone up for the wrong reasons.
That's right, Rishaad. It may be sustainable, but the reason why Vietnam has been such a terrible stock market is, first of all, there's a huge bubble in 05-06 and really also a terrible inflation problem that's baked into their economy and a very high current account deficit, about 170% to GDP. So if the current account deficit was coming down and inflation was coming down, I'd be interested, but they're not. And the reason why the market's going up is because the authorities have forced the banks to cut deposit rates from 19 down to 14%. They've banned the import of gold, and they've substantially restricted gold trading, and they've cracked down on the gray market in their currency. And the last thing they did is they allowed banks to reclassify property loans as productive loans, which means they can lend more to the property sector. So you can do your interpretation, but I don't see any of those as particularly bullish points.
No, they certainly don't seem to be. Tell us a little bit more, though, about the inflationary environment. I mean, last time I checked, we were talking about inflation of about 17, 18% plus there. Is there any chance of this coming down? One part of my question. And do we see further devaluation for the dong, too?
The Electro Vietnam, which is their electricity company, just suffered a massive loss. So they're clearly having to subsidize the high price of energy. And the interesting thing about Vietnam is they actually have a lot of natural resources, including oil, but they don't have enough refining capacity, so they're a big importer of refined product. Anyway, suffice it to say that the electricity authority can't handle these kind of losses anymore, so there will be an electricity hike, probably about 15% over the next couple of weeks. And if the global economy slows down and commodities prices come down, I guess that would help Vietnam net because the oil price would come down. But also, it would mean they would export less, so I don't think I would positively interpret for them on the whole. Then with the currency, right now the gray market just seems to be trading sideways, but I think it's only a matter of time before it starts to go down again.
When we look at Vietnam as well, okay, we can say that the stock market's gone up, and we discussed all the reasons, the wrong reasons, Mark, that you just outlined. But it's a very hard market for a foreigner to get involved with anyway, isn't it?
Yes, I think there are a couple of Vietnam ETFs in Hong Kong, and there might be one, I apologize, I don't know, trading in the U.S. And so you can buy the ETFs. There are a bunch of funds, Vietnam funds, that are traded in various places like Ireland, I think. But you're right, you can't just sort of buy a Vietnamese stock the way you can a Hong Kong one or a Thai one.
Mark, thank you so much for your time. Mark Matthews there from Bank Julius Baer, joining us there from Singapore.